So the protocol for doing this communication between the browser and the web server is HTTP, which stands for Hypertext Transfer Protocol. This is a common data communication protocol on the web. And for example, when Alice goes to safebank.com, her browser is going to send an HTTP request. Okay, so this is the protocol that it's using to talk to the web server. And the web server responds with an HTTP response. Okay, so in this case, it's returning a code of 200, which means okay, and a text which corresponds to the web page in HTML, and the web page is going to be displayed by the browser. Right, so basically we got from this URL all the way to getting back the web page. So let's look at URLs. So URLs are global identifiers of network retrievable resources. Okay, so they are resources. When you type in a URL into your browser, you are essentially referring to a resource. All right, so basically, this is an example of a URL, and it has a bunch of things in it. So let's try to disseminate and see what the different components are. So for example, the first part is the protocol, HTTP in this case. The second is the host name, such as safebank.com. The third is the port number. Then the count is a path. So when you reach that server, there could be a hierarchy, a path, like a file path. And that account could actually be a script, and the script is taking inputs. So this is a query, id equals 10, that could be fed as input to the script. And the statement is a fragment, for example, if you're interested in a piece of the page. All right, so here are the steps of HTTP. So you visit the URL, which generates, the browser generates an HTTP request. So let's look at how the request looks like. So the request is literally just a blurb of text. And the text contains a method, contains, so get has no side effect in this case because you're just getting content, and a post which has a possible side effect. Then there's a path, for example, you are requesting the index page, the main page. And then there's a version number, and then there's various headers. Then comes the data. In the case of a GET, you don't really have any data because you're fetching, you're requesting things from the server. But in the case of a post, so if the method were to be a post, then you might want to have some data and post it on the server. So that can have a possible side effect if, for example, the server is recording the data. All right, and then the blank line is where the HTTP request is ending. All right. Then the web server gets this request, processes it, and then it returns an HTTP response. So let's look at the response. So the response contains a HTTP version. It contains the status code. So in this case, everything was fine. So 200 means okay. Or it could be 404 when the file is not found, for example, or the server not found. And then there's various server headers. And then there is the data. The data is the web page. All right.